Happy Friday. I'm Wiley, your favorite information scientist. I have been thinking about how we use the word successful and exemplary in evaluation, not in relation to any one person or situation, I promise. Welcome to Wiley's World. My lab, the Wiley Collective, work on information, liberation, equity, and learning. This to me is really a broader conversation about how we define and recognize excellence. You know, I took notes. So that's why you see me look to the left. Years ago, I remember a tenured librarian raising a question in our conversation about is it ever enough? She was sharing a story about a colleague in computer science at a research intensive university, someone with major grants, strong publications output, excellent teaching evaluations, and meaningful departmental relationships. They were submitting their tenure materials and still asking themselves, is what I've done successful? They earned tenure, and the question remained. I think that question, though, points to something deeper. The distinction between, I'll say it again, the distinction between successful and exemplary is not about metrics. It's not purely quantitative. It is interpretive. It is qualitative. It is about how work is read, not just what is produced. And I've been thinking about that in my own work, in my own life, specifically because I am also an information science PhD candidate, and it's our annual review time, and we do this write-up about, what we've done, that we meet with either committee members or your advisor and another individual. I can name outputs, conference presentations, research milestones, interviews conducted, chapters written and revised. On paper, there is clear evidence of progress. There are also real people who have said, thank you for thinking of me in my, dissertation study. People who told me no one ever thinks of us. That's what they pretty much said in the interviews. There was the last question where I said, is there anything that you wished I had asked or would like for me to know? And so many of my participants said, thank you so much for thinking of us, Chris. No one ever thinks of us. There's also people who have shared that my work or talks meant something to them when they saw me at a presentation, either informally or it was, at the conference itself, or they emailed me later. And still, I find myself asking, am I successful? And I don't mean that in a way that I'm seeking other people to come and tell me that I am, or I'm seeking validation, because validation is for parking. Yet what I am thinking about in response to the question, am I successful? Especially when a particular milestone, like graduating on a specific timeline, has not happened yet. So, am I successful? Is the day still worthy? Even when the outcome is not what you have expected or the way that you thought that it would turn out. So what does it mean to measure success in spaces where evaluation is ongoing, layered, and often ambiguous? What does it mean for a day, a year, or even years of work to be enough? Because when we use words like successful or exemplary, we're not just describing outcomes. We're expressing values. We're signaling what counts and what does not, interpretively, while also thinking about what that means. We often hear that numbers do not lie. But what happens when evaluation is not just about the numbers? When people bring their own ideas, values, experiences, and expertise into how they assess what counts? Not from a place of bias or harm, but because we all understand our paths, our work, and our careers differently, even when we hold the same title or follow similar paths. So I've been sitting with this. Successful and exemplary are not just metrics. What do they actually mean? And even when I tell you what I think they mean, will you agree? Thanks for listening. Hope y'all doing good out there. Peace.